we've got the new character from Overwatch.
We'll level up with the top 10 RPGs ever.
And strap pizzas on our backs in Tekken 7.
This is the IGN Show.
Hello and welcome to the IGN Show. I'm Will, this is James and Naomi. Miranda and Alana are busy battling Pokemon in the office. It's totally for work though.
It's true. Coming up on today's show, we'll preview the time-bending and emotional Life is Strange Before the Storm and count down the top 10 best RPGs of all time.
And later, you don't want to miss our review of Pyre, this unique blend of fantasy and sports, which admittedly sounds strange, actually makes for one of the best games of the year.
But first, it's time to check out Doomfist, the new character in Overwatch. I think his full name is Steve Doomfist, right?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. Most of the current Overwatch roster, with a few exceptions, is very shooty-shooty. Doomfist, on the other hand, is very punchy-punchy. That's my expert analysis.
And up close, he can land some devastating attacks and wipe your team before you know what hit you.
Doomfist, as of today, July 27th, is playable on the live servers Xbox One and PS4. So here's a quick rundown of his abilities to get you started. A key leader to the antithesis of Overwatch talent, Doomfist uses his mobility and passive to mix it up at close range. His primary fire shoots a standard shotgun spread that slowly reloads over time. But this is an ability-focused hero, and as such, his other abilities really define his kit. Alternate fire charges up a rocket punch, which will propel you an incredible distance and damage the first enemy you come into contact with. Plus, bonus damage for knocking foes into a wall. His shift executes a jumping uppercut that combos very well with his E, Seismic Slam, which damages enemies in a cone and pulls them towards you. It's also worth noting that every enemy hit with an ability generates a flat 30 damage barrier, up to a maximum of 400 total health. Finally, his ultimate Meteor Strike is absolutely nuts. He leaps into the sky and comes crashing back down to Earth with dizzying force. Enemies directly in the center will take additional damage, and you can move during this process. But if an opportunity presents itself, the ult can be ended early. Doomfist's ultimate is particularly useful for knocking enemies into environmental hazards.
Stick around, because we've got more Doomfist gameplay in Overwatch later in the show. In the right hands, he can cause some real trouble. The award-winning Life is Strange was one of 2015's breakout hits. There's a sequel in the works, but if you can't bear the wait, Alana's got a sneak peek at the prequel, which is set to release by the end of this summer.
Life is Strange Before the Storm is a prequel to the episodic graphic adventure game Life is Strange, which had a really passionate, somewhat niche fanbase when it came out in 2015. This time, though, you play as a 16-year-old Chloe Price, who is probably one of the biggest mischief makers in Arcadia Bay, a fictional town in Oregon. Because Chloe is an angry, irritable, and argumentative girl, it feels like it's full to the brim with conflict, and there are some tense moments just at the expense of Chloe's attitude.
Why do you women always take forever to get ready?
We're hoping you men will leave without us.
While I did find playing such a negative character really off-putting, one upside there is that she's basically actively trying to get into fights. So you play the role of the guardian angel, trying to steer her in the right direction. Or not. One of the most appealing parts of Life is Strange is that what Chloe does is, at least in part, up to you. And the opening segment of the game is full of interactivity. Picking up one thing will unlock an interaction with someone that couldn't have existed without it, and in that, each interaction feels important, rather than just fun. The environments are full of plenty of things you can't interact with though too, but that's not a flaw. It's full of dense settings with so many things to learn about the people that inhabit them just by looking around. Even without the time manipulation mechanics that existed in the original game, I felt fulfilled. Before the Storm's early sequences are just as pretty as Life is Strange itself too, with a strangely relaxing use of lighting and color. Despite how angry Chloe is, it's a pleasant place to exist in. I think fans of the original game are going to really love the chance to learn more about Rachel and Chloe, but I don't know that this is a great place for newcomers to start.
I thought Chloe Price doesn't need friends. I thought so too.
The biggest downside is some of the brutal frame rate issues, with some of your control of the camera feeling laggy, or panning shots that are just straight up choppy. Technical issues like this certainly remind you that you're playing a game and can really take you out of the experience. Of course, that's something developer Deck 9 could fix before the first episode of the game releases on August 31st.
Coming up, we'll review a great game that's basically a fantasy version of NBA Jam, and it totally works. Plus, we've got insane Tekken 7 gear, more Doomfist, and the 10 best RPGs of all time. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the IGN Show. Supergiant Games is the indie studio responsible for two great games, Bastion and Transistor. Their new game, Pyre, is beyond great. This is a potential top 10 of the year release. It's fantasy, it's sports, and it's amazing. Here's our review.
Watching Pyre's emotionally gripping story unfold alongside exciting real-time tactical battles is an experience on par with hearing a world-class musician perform a difficult piece with equal parts talent and soul. And speaking of which, the music is superb. The intricate but easy-to-follow story casts you as the reader, an unseen character flung into the center of momentous events that are shaking the foundations of a finely crafted fantasy setting. It's a distinctive cross between Dr. Seuss and H.P. Lovecraft, where the dark and the whimsical mingle seamlessly. Your task is to put together a kind of mystical sports team to compete in an arcane ritual called the Trials, which is the only way for criminals exiled to a bleak underworld to earn a pardon and return to the shining Commonwealth from whence they came. The Trials are at the heart of Pyre, a hectic, highly tactical real-time battle system that feels more than a little like a fantasy world version of NBA Jam. While there are 3 characters on a team, you're only able to move one at a time, which gives rise to a whole range of tactics based on positioning your inactive teammates to passively defend your own Pyre. Each of the 8 campaign characters has highly differing mobility, aura size, respawn time, and special abilities. Small, fast characters like Rookie Greentail can outmaneuver an enemy team easily. Close victories are made even more gripping in the context of the campaign, where the outcome of a match could decide the fate of a character you've come to know and love. One of my only disappointments with Pyre is that the head-to-head mode is local only, so you can't challenge your Steam or PSN friends across the world to a match.
Somebody get the orb.
From the art, to the music, to the story, to the tactical gameplay, and even to how they're all woven together so artfully, Pyre is an adventure that excels in every area of its design. It's an epic journey that made me feel thrilled, devastated, and awed, and its tense moments had me tugging at my collar both in and out of its fast-paced mystical sports arenas. With an emotionally charged ending that saw so much I'd striven for come to fruition, but was still tinged with tragedy and melancholy even when I did almost everything right, I won't be able to get Pyre out of my head for a long time.
Doomfist is the latest addition to the cast of Overwatch, and if you've been watching the show, you've already seen a rundown of his abilities, but now it's time to see those abilities in action.
Starting off on Lijiang Tower, Lucio uses Drop the Beat, I uppercut into a seismic slam, catching Genji, hitting Winston with a rocket punch clean off the map. See you later, exchanging fire with the hand cannon here, waiting for those cooldowns to get back up, and they're up. This time it's Lucio's turn to take a dip in the Lijiang Tower pond. And here comes the Meteor Strike, getting Zenyatta, missing Tracer, hitting her with a seismic slam, which is good enough for the kill thanks to Soldier 76, and it's time to get out of there. Next up, we're on Dorado, uppercut into a seismic slam. Soldier is low enough HP to get one shot by that, and barely connecting with a rocket punch there on Junkrat. He pays the price. Doomfist is looking to style on me, but I decide to style on him back, and my style, as we all know, is superior to this Doomfist. That's going to be good enough for a point capture. Time to go back over to Lijiang Tower. Tracer is harassing me. That's not going to last. Enjoy that concussion. Now it's time for a Meteor Strike Ultimate. I decide to attempt to go in through the window. That doesn't work, so it's time to go in through the door. Don't fully get the Lucio, but get him enough to land the killing blow with that rocket punch. Reaper comes in and dodges the seismic strike with his shadow step, but that's okay. I can just punch. The rule of Doomfist is when in doubt, rocket punch.
Pyre's soldier an uppercut. I am unable to finish and prematurely trigger my rocket punch there. Luckily, Diva is there to secure the kill. Thank you so much, friendo. Tracer comes in to contest, but gets knocked into a wall. See you later. We got the point, but the play is not over. Here comes Lucio to contest yet again. Hit him with a rocket punch into the railing. Seismic slam, but he shoots me off the map. Unfortunately, I can fly, basically, so GG. Seismic slam into an uppercut, into a punch, but man, she can take a lot of damage, so don't fully kill her. Reaper looking for the kill here, but you gotta watch out for that punch with Doomfist. He is called Doomfist for a reason. Here comes the rest of the team. Farah and Orisa retreating back to get some HP. I start getting very low, hitting by Anna, who has respawned. 5 HP into Bastion for the kill. Mercy's there. Thank you so much for the heals. Seismic slam punch into Hanzo. Doesn't quite finish him off. That's okay. We are going to meteor strike here. Farah coming in using her ultimate barrage, but it gets interrupted by mine. See you later. And there goes Reaper. That is a win. But before we're done here, what better way to send you off than with an epic rocket punch montage?
Coming up, we count down the top 10 RPGs of all time. It would take years to beat all these gigantic epics.
It's absolutely true. Then things are going to get weird when we take a look at the strangest unlockable gear that you can score in Tekken 7.
Stick with us.
Welcome back to the IGN Show. Whether you're battling Pokemon, exploring Azeroth, or scrounging for materia, there's no denying the power of a good role-playing game. They transport you to new worlds, and here are the 10 best of all time.
Role-playing games have a long and fascinating history. From its humble tabletop origins, the RPG has grown and evolved over the years into the most dominant and ambitious game genre. So IGN got its biggest RPG fans in a room to find out which of them are just okay and which stand out as full-fledged masterpieces. These are IGN's top 10 RPGs of all time. You can spend hundreds of hours exploring The Witcher 3's expansive continent and surrounding isles and still not have seen a fraction of what this world has to offer. The saga of Geralt comes to a supremely satisfying conclusion in what's absolutely the best game in CD Projekt Red's acclaimed RPG series. What begins as a quest to find your lost love becomes an engrossing tale full of unforgettable characters, terrifying enemies, and genuine heart. For all intents and purposes, Vagrant Story should not have been a PlayStation game. The themes of civil war, religious zealots, and ghoulish cult leaders were heavy stuff for the time, but it's handled masterfully through beautiful art direction and some extremely impressive localization. Vagrant Story is the definition of a cult classic. From its dark, moody music and visual trappings to its lengthy and lofty story, Blizzard's return to its fast-paced action RPG series is a masterclass in atmospheric adventure. Diablo 2's cooperative play and item trading helped to successfully foster a bustling online community, while its freeform progression and replayable content amounted to one of the greatest role-playing experiences of all time. During the 1990s, developer Squaresoft was the undisputed king of JRPGs, and The Secret of Mana was one of the most dazzling jewels on its crown. The action-based combat was easy to learn and fun to do. Then there was the breathtaking soundtrack, celebrated for its mix of cheerful tunes and haunting melodies. But the most memorable feature was the multiplayer. In short, Secret of Mana was, and still is, a magical RPG. The creators of Planescape Torment aim to subvert RPG cliches from the start, and the result is what several critics have called one of the best written and most imaginative video games ever created. So much of Planescape Torment is driven by sharp and engaging dialogue instead of combat. Planescape Torment's experimental approach to RPG norms, twisted sense of humor, strikingly dark but fresh setting, and tendency to elevate even the most minor conversations with weighty philosophical questions combine to create a unique personality unsurpassed in the last 2 decades.
Stick around because we'll have games 5 through 1 in just a few minutes.
Now, most fighting games have unlockables like alternate costumes, like you got a red one or a blue one, sometimes a white one if you really want to beat them up.
Tekken 7 breaks tradition and gets real weird, like creepy deer head weird.
That is a huge pizza.
Okay, olives, is he serious?
Olives are great. What are you talking about, Will?
You're right. Olives are good on some pizza. I just feel like they would fall off in the fight.
So I kind of want to eat that pizza, but also not outside.
No.
Like,
He's been fighting with it. It was raining in that clip. You don't want that pizza.
It's a good distraction though, right?
And who is that? I don't know who that is.
Head lantern.
This is a good invention during daylight savings time when the sun goes down at 4 o'clock. You want this.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd want to fight with her. Like, I am so scared for her every time she flips or bends over. Because, like, what if she hits her head because of some lantern sticking out of it?
And it would definitely rip by being touched at all.
Yeah, it is useful though. Never without light.
Now this one, the desk fan. Okay, now this is for your friends, really. This is not for you.
So in the fighting sense, I think it's kind of useful because, like, at first, like, yeah, I'm just trying to help you out. It's cool, but you're actually drying on your opponent's eyes.
Yeah.
It's pretty high up. Like, you don't want to fan in your face. That's distracting.
It's a great distraction. I like this outfit. It's very pirate-esque. I would wear it every day. If I wore it, people would think I was a pirate.
Really?
Yes.
Pirates?
If I walked around and told people I was a pirate, they would believe it.
And they'd be like, are you sure? Aren't you against the pirates?
Colonial guy.
Who knows? Okay, now this one's the last one and probably the weirdest. It's a deer head. But it's not so creepy because it's just a mask. Like, I think it's fun.
Okay, if it's a real deer, if that's what they're going for, no. But a made deer, you're down with.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just did too much.
Yeah, so who knows what they're going to come up with next, but for now, it's pretty cool.
Goodbye. We know you like wasting time, so right after this, we'll talk about our favorite time wasters ever, RPGs. Find out about our 5 favorite role-playing games right after this. Nothing more disappointing than falling in love with a game and then having it end after 5 hours. If you want to avoid disappointments like that, you definitely need to play our favorite RPGs of all time. You could get lost in them for months. It's happened to me a couple times, actually.
Even if World of Warcraft never evolved past its vanilla state, it would still be remembered fondly as an incredible RPG filled with epic dungeons, supremely compelling player versus player encounters, satisfying non-combat crafting and social gameplay, and more well-written, handcrafted quests and adventures than it felt possible for a single RPG to contain. WoW has never stood still. Completely new worlds, revamped old worlds, balanced and well-integrated new classes, risky storytelling, and an almost impossible-to-count volume of quality-of-life improvements have made an already great game experience even more amazing more than a decade later. Pokemon Yellow culminates the fantastic RPG system from Pokemon Red and Blue and mashes them into context with story beats from the great Pokemon anime. Pokemon Yellow's updated sprites, moves, and a slew of other narrative changes further cement it as the best way to experience the most influential Pokemon game. Following on the success of Baldur's Gate in 1998, BioWare surpassed gamers' expectations with the sequel, Baldur's Gate 2. In addition to the robust implementation of the current D&D rules, Baldur's Gate 2 included massive environments, thrilling turn-based tactical combat, and enough side quests to fill any fantasy lover's bookshelf. Compared to its cheerfully optimistic brethren, Final Fantasy VI is a refreshing breath of bleak air. It dares to answer the question, what if the bad guy wins, by actually letting the bad guy win halfway through the story. Its mini tower defense games break up the monotony of random battles, while each character's unique combat abilities means everyone serves a purpose. Nothing feels redundant or wasted in Final Fantasy VI. It's truly like no other RPG. Creating a top 10 RPG list was quite a challenge, but placing Chrono Trigger at the very top was surprisingly easy. 20-plus years after Square Enix's Epic released on the SNES, and we're still gobsmacked by its originality and ingenuity. Its brilliant introduction of time travel as both a storytelling vessel and gameplay mechanic is proof that solid story and riveting gameplay don't have to be mutually exclusive. And it's easy to see why Chrono Trigger is our top-ranking RPG of all time.
Well, there was our official list, but I have to ask, what are your personal favorite RPGs, Will?
Oh, I gotta say, I'm a Pokemon kind of guy. Any Pokemon game I can immediately get into and become obsessed about.
Yummy?
For me, The Witcher's definitely up there, but I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, so Mass Effect Trilogy, 100%.
Mine made the list, the top 10. It was World of Warcraft. It's an MMO, so there are all these functional multiplayer elements, but I just love the world of Azeroth and becoming immersed in it, and it really, like, captured...
Your heart.
Yes, my heart, exactly.
On the next episode, we got an IGN First, an exclusive look at Assassin's Creed Origins.
And because we love counting down backwards from 10, we'll reveal the top 10 secrets in games. Here's a hint. Moo!
Plus, the mind-blowing secrets of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, like chucking rusty weapons at Octoroks to get clean ones back. Who knew?
Well, that wraps up this episode of the IGN Show.
And remember, keep it locked to IGN.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a good one.
Pokemon. I like that you changed up the RPGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Kingdom Hearts was the first one you went with, and then you were just like, switching it.
I like to keep on my toe.